Hello everyone, my name is Emmanuel IRAGANJE, so I just want to answer the questions that have been asked in this project. My respondents have answered well the questions.
What are the three branches of the government that you know?
There is the judicial,
Mhm.
there is the executive,
Uh-huh.
and the legislative.
What are the branches of the three branches of government that you know?
I just know the legislative,
Mhm.
I just know executive, and
Yes.
the judicial branch.
So I just want to also to answer them. So I'll start with the three branches that are in the US government. So first of all, there's legislative, there is executive, there is judiciary. So legislative is in charge of drafting proposed laws, confirms, reject presidential nominations for heads of federal agencies, federal judges, and the Supreme Court, and has the authority to declare war. Executive branch carries out and enforces law. Judiciary interprets the meaning of laws, applies laws to individual cases, and decides if the laws violate the Constitution.
What does each branch do?
Actually, the legislative creates or make law. The executive is there to just enforce those laws and just do different policies. And I think judicial is related to things of judging and laws.
So what does each branch do?
Uh, the judicial makes laws, the legislative makes laws, the judicial interprets them, and the executive enforces them.
So, legislative is in charge of drafting proposed laws, confirms, reject presidential nominations for heads of federal agencies, federal judges, and the Supreme Court, and has the authority to declare war. Executive branch carries out and enforces law. Judiciary interprets the meaning of laws, applies laws to individual cases, and decides if the laws violate the Constitution. Now, let me talk about the connection between the three. So, executive in charge of carrying out and enforcing the laws. So it can't work if legislative haven't sit down and draft laws, meaning the executive will carry or enforce what is already drafted. So same as judiciary. Judiciary interprets the meaning of law. You can't interpret something that has not yet been drafted, that has not yet been initiated or been put in place. So uh, that's how they are connected. So now let me talk about the checks and balance. So the legislative branch makes the law, but the president and the executive branch can veto those laws with a presidential veto. So the legislative branch makes laws, but the judiciary branch can declare those laws unconstitutional. So the executive branch, through the federal agencies, has responsibility for day-to-day enforcement and administration of federal laws. So the federal departments and agencies have missions and responsibilities that vary widely from the environmental protection to protecting the nation's borders. So the president in the executive branch can veto a law, but the legislative branch can override that veto with enough votes. The legislative branch has the power to approve presidential nominations, control the budget, and can impeach the president and remove him or her from office. The executive branch can declare executive orders, which are like proclamations that carry the force of law, but the judicial branch can declare those acts unconstitutional. The judicial branch interprets laws, but the president nominates Supreme Court justices, but Court of Appeal judges, and district court judges who make the evaluations. So the judicial branch interprets laws, but the Senate and the legislative branch confirms the president's nominations for the judicial positions, and Congress can impeach any of those judges and remove them from office.
So Democrats and Republicans are major parties. Can you name a third party?
Yeah, I know the Green Party and also the Constitutional Party.
Okay, thank you. Democrats and Republicans are major parties. So can you name a third party?
Actually, I know there is Green Party
Yes.
and there is Libertarian Party.
Now, so let me talk about the third party that are in the US. So, actually, the Green Party, Reform Party, Libertarians, and Constitution Party, Natural Law Party represent the most active third parties currently in the United States. Now, let me talk about the origin of Democratic Republican. So, Democratic Republican originally in 1792, 1798, a Republican Party, first opposition political party in the United States, organized in 1792 as Republican Party. Its members held power nationally between 1801 and 1825. It was a direct replacement of the present Democratic Party. So the Democratic Party is the oldest political party in the US and among the oldest political party in the world, which traces its roots in 1792 when followers of Thomas Jefferson adopted the name Republican to emphasize the anti-monarchical views. The Republican Party, also known as Jeffersonian Republicans, advocated a decentralized government with limited powers. Another faction took emerge in the early years of the Republic, the Federalist Party, led by Alexander Hamilton, favored a strong central government. Jefferson's faction developed from the group of anti-federalists who had agitated in favor of addition of a Bill of Rights to the constitutions of the United States. The Federalists called Jefferson's faction the Democratic Republican Party in the attempt to identify it with the disorder expounded by the radical Democrats of the French Revolutions of 1789. After the Federalist John Adams was elected president in 1796, the Republican Party served as the country's first opposition party in 1798. The Republicans adopted the derisive Democratic Republican leader as their official name. So let me talk about the impact of the minor parties. So the third party candidates exert influence by focusing the election on particular issues and taking votes away from the major candidates. So third party also candidates can shift national attention to the particular issues, and third party candidates can take votes away from the major political party candidates, influencing the outcome of the election. So how a bill becomes a law?
Yeah.
So what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
Actually, there are many steps, but as I sum up, I would say the Congress just introduced that law. Then after introducing it, they make follow-up, they budget for that because they'll be spending much on it. Then after budgeting it, they set like kind of groups to be making follow-up on it. They judge whether it's right or wrong. Then it's passed entities until it reaches to the president, who is the one to sign it. Then when the president signs for it, then it is just.
So what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
It's quite a long process, but all I know is that it starts with the executive. Any member of the Congress or the House Representative starts the bill, or that's when they say the bill is born. And when you bring the registration, you become like you're the one in for it. There is what they call it, I don't remember. And then there is another process it goes through, and it gets to the president where he signs or he does not sign. And when he signs it, it becomes a bill. And if he does not say anything within 10 days, it automatically becomes a law.
Becomes a law. How a bill becomes a law? First of all, there's a creation of a bill. Members of the House or Senate draft, sponsor, and introduce bills for consideration by Congress. And then, committee action. Usually, a committee is assigned to study a bill according to its subject matter. Often, a committee will refer the bill to one of its subcommittee. The subcommittee may request reports from the government agencies holding hearings so experts and interested parties have an opportunity to offer testimonies regarding the issue, markup, or revise the bill, or report the legislation to the full committee for its consideration. So the full committee may make a recommendation to pass the bill, to revise versus markup, and release the bill, also known as reporting the bill out of the committee, or even to lay the bill aside, also known as tabling the bill. So then there's another step which is floor action. So the bill is returned to the full House or Senate for further debate and approval. At this point, members may propose amendments to the bill, add additional text to the bill, or otherwise alter the bill. And then after that, there's a vote. House and Senate members vote on their respective versions of the proposed bill. And then there's conference committee. A bill must be approved by both chambers of Congress when the Senate amends and agrees to a bill or a version of a bill that the House has already passed, or when the House amends and passes the Senate bill or a version of a Senate bill. The two chambers may begin to resolve any legislative differences between the House and the Senate versions of a bill by the way of a conference committee. When the chambers go to the conference, the House and Senate send conferees or representatives to bargain and negotiate. So the final compromises in the conference reports must be agreed to by both chambers before it's cleared for presidential consideration. The conference report will recommend a common version of the measure for approval, and will also include statements of legislative intent regarding provisions of the legislation in a joint statement of manager of the conference. And then after that, there's a presidential action. And then this is about after the bill is passed by both chambers, it's sent to the president for his approval signature, and then which is granted, which if granted creates the bill publicly. So if to presidential action, after the bill is passed by both chambers, it's sent to the president for his approval or signature, which if granted creates a public law. When the president comments on and refuses to sign a bill, it's known as a veto. A veto bill may return to Congress for reconsideration, and then if the president does not act within 10 days, the bill automatically becomes a law. If Congress adjourns within 10 days, after the bill is sent to the president and he does not sign it, the bill is automatically vetoed. So this process is known as a pocket veto. And then there is the last step, which is the issuing the law. The Office of Federal Register assigns the public law a number, for instance, PL 109/1, and the government, a printing office prints a copy of it. Laws are issued first in a slip form or a single publication containing one law, and later it's organized in the order in which it was passed. Finally, it is codified into subject order so that all laws on the same topic fall together. Yeah. Now let me talk about the role of sponsor, committees, debates, and voting. So the sponsor is the member of Congress, a sponsor is the member of Congress primarily responsible for bringing the bill, resolution, or amendment to the House or Senate. So committee requested written comments from relevant executive agencies, and then committee works to perfect the measure by amending the bill or resolution. And once the language is agreed upon, the committee sends the measure back to the full Senate. Often it's also provides a report that describes the purpose of measure. And then let me talk about a debate. Debate helps the bill to be agreed upon so that they are sent to the president to be signed into law or vetoed. And voting has to, the committee has to vote on the bill after it has been amended for approval for the bill to pass. And the members may vote or not, but it's the voting that determines if the bill will pass or not. So that's the role of the vote. Thank you so much.